In the entire grade, Aaron Evans was known as the typical Iceberg top student. He ranked first in every exam, possessed a sharp and intelligent mind, and always kept a cold, quiet distance from everyone. Tall, neat, and expressionless, he rarely talked in class, never joined noisy group chats, and turned down all trivial social activities. To teachers and classmates, Aaron was a walking standard of perfection, excellent, disciplined, and utterly untouchable. He never smiled, never took the initiative to greet others, and always Saturday alone by the window during breaks. Many students admired him secretly, but no one dared to approach. People thought he was born indifferent, arrogant, and too proud to blend in with ordinary teenagers. No one knew that his coldness was never arrogance, but long-term habit of silence and self-restraint. He was used to solving all difficulties alone, hiding all tiredness and pressure, and never letting others see his vulnerability. Sophomore girl Hazel Lynn was quiet and gentle. She had average grades, was careful and patient, and always treated everyone sincerely. She had never taken the initiative to approach Aaron or join the crowd of admirers. To her, he was just a distant, outstanding senior who belonged to a completely different world. She only respected him silently, never dared to expect any intersection between them. Their first subtle connection began with a borrowed notebook. One afternoon after self-study class, Hazel accidentally left her math error notebook on the classroom desk. It was filled with carefully sorted wrong questions, hand-drawn analysis diagrams, and neat summary notes. When she rushed back anxiously after realizing her mistake, the classroom was almost empty. Only Aaron stood by her desk, holding her notebook gently, waiting quietly for her return. He did not speak much, just handed the notebook back, nodded slightly, and turned to leave. His voice was low and calm, without any extra emotion, but extremely polite. That small incident left a faint impression in both of their hearts. Aaron rarely saw such earnest and detailed study notes from ordinary students. He gradually noticed this quiet girl who always Saturday in the front row, listened carefully in every class, and never made noise or slack off. She was not dazzling, but steady, sincere, and quietly shining in her own way. As the midterm exam approached, the grade arranged voluntary evening self-study in the classroom. Every night, the classroom was quiet and focused. Hazel was weak in advanced math problems and often stayed late to sort out difficult questions. One night, she encountered a complex function problem that puzzled her for a long time. She frowned and tried repeatedly, but still could not find the correct solution. Just when she was lost in thought, a faint shadow fell on her exercise book. Aaron stood beside her desk quietly. Without arrogant tone or indifferent attitude, he simply asked in a low voice whether she needed help. Hazel was stunned. She had never imagined that the coldest top student in the grade would take the initiative to ask about her study problems. Nervous and flustered, she nodded gently. Aaron Saturday beside her briefly. He did not show off his intelligence or rush through the steps. He explained every thinking point slowly and clearly, marked key formulas with a pencil, and patiently told her the fixed problem-solving logic of similar question types. His tone was still calm, but extremely careful and responsible. He did not miss any trivial detail, and did not end the explanation until Hazel completely understood and nodded repeatedly. After finishing the explanation, he did not leave immediately. He glanced at her thick error notebook and told her plainly that her learning method was very solid, and as long as she persisted steadily, her grades would definitely improve. It was the first time Hazel had heard such gentle affirmation from his cold mouth. Her heart was filled with warm and subtle surprise. From then on, their intersection slowly increased. Aaron would occasionally take the initiative to remind her of key review points before exams. When she was stuck on difficult exercises, he would quietly walk over to give her hints. He still did not talk much, still kept his quiet and low-key style in front of others, but he began to leave his unique tenderness exclusively for her. Classmates gradually noticed the subtle change. The Iceberg senior, who never approached anyone, would take the initiative to stay after class, would patiently guide a junior girl's study, and would even wait quietly for her to pack up her books before leaving the classroom. The cold aura surrounding him slowly melted little by little. No one knew that during this period, Aaron was also under huge academic pressure. As the top student carrying the whole grade's expectation, he faced countless comparisons, doubts, and high requirements. He was always forced to maintain perfect grades and a rigorous image, and he had no one to confide in. But staying with Hazel gradually relieved his inner tiredness. Her sincerity, steadiness, and gentle persistence gave him a rare sense of peace and relaxation. On a rainy evening after self-study class, the rain poured down suddenly. Hazel forgot to bring an umbrella and could only stand at the corridor entrance anxiously. Just as she was hesitating, Aaron walked over with the black umbrella. Without hesitation, he tilted the umbrella slightly toward her side, blocking all the rain and wind for her. The two walked side by side in the quiet, rainy night, their shoulders nearly touching. On the quiet road, Aaron took the initiative to speak more than usual. He told her that his cold appearance was just a habit. He was afraid of being impetuous, afraid of being affected by trivial social interactions, and afraid of failing the high expectations placed on him. Therefore, he chose to shut himself out and keep a distance from everyone. But after knowing her, he finally understood that warmth and proper companionship would not affect progress but would make people braver and more stable. Hazel looked up at him in the soft, rainy nightlight. The cold and distant iceberg in everyone's eyes had completely melted in front of her. Under his quiet appearance was a gentle, sincere, and fragile heart that no one had ever touched. After that night, Aaron became more gentle and approachable. He no longer deliberately kept a cold mask. He would greet familiar classmates politely, take the initiative to help others with study problems, and even show a faint smile occasionally. The iceberg that had stood alone for years finally bloomed with warm vitality because of one person's existence. Their youth had no vigorous confession or noisy romance. It was just the quiet melting of an iceberg, the silent growth of a sincere girl, and the mutual warmth and progress in the most ordinary youthful days. The coldest top student in the grade finally learned to be gentle, and the ordinary and earnest girl successfully walked into the most secret and soft corner of his youth.
本音频由魔音工坊 AI 生成，